Good morning. Welcome to the 10 Ms of Shipping. We're happy to have you here and joining us on the virtual audience for eBay Open. I am Chad Stewart. I am the Director of U.S. Exports. I lead the EIS program. I have been with eBay for 12 years. I'm in the Salt Lake office.
Yeah, hi, good morning, everyone. Excited to be here and to see so many very well-rested faces. My name is Giovanni Feridli. I'm from Italy, as you can tell from my accent. I lead my team is responsible for product, for shipping. Based out of Seattle, I've been at eBay for 13 and a half years. Never stopped learning about shipping. But I'm pretty curious to see what's on your mind today.
And I'm Kelly McIntyre. I'm the Director of U.S. Shipping. I've been at eBay for 22 years. So in case you're wondering, I started when I was 12. I'm focused on the domestic shipping side, and I'm based out of our San Jose office. I don't know about any of you, but shipping is pretty complicated. When I first went over to the shipping team about 6 years ago, I thought, so easy. Like, you put dimensions and weights, you throw it in a box, and you give it off to the carrier, and everything goes smoothly. Like, yeah, I'll go to shipping. This is going to be an easy space. Boy, was I wrong. So Chad, Gio, and I thought what we could do today is we could go over some of the top 10 myths that we hear frequently, and we can share our insights on it, and even in some cases, lessons we've learned the hard way. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so the first myth is mine. You don't have to enter package dimensions unless your item's really big or oversized. Actually, we strongly encourage you to enter accurate dimensions and weights on listings, and especially at the time that you purchase your label. Carriers do use both weights and dimensions for charges, as most of you probably know. You might have a higher charge because you have a really big box, even if it's light. Or did you know you can actually save money if you have a small box, even if it's heavier? So I don't know if any of you ever had like a big oversized pillow show up in this tiny little box and you open it and it pops out. That's because you want to save cost by making it in a smaller box. So always enter accurate dimensions when you can. One other tip I would say is measure the outside of the box. We often hear people are taking the measurement out of the side of the box. That's usually an inner dimension. So you want to measure the outside of the box and then always round up on your dimensions. Go ahead to the next. Oh, this one's me too. So as long as your package is covered in box or tape, it's not considered irregular or non-standard, and you're fine. No, that's not actually the case. We've seen some pretty crazy packages on our days. We've seen like items that have a part of it sticking out and it's just wrapped in plastic. Or it's a really odd shape and it just has a box and then plastic around the rest of it. In most of these cases, the carrier is actually going to charge you an additional charge for irregular packaging or non-standard. And I don't know if you know this, but USPS actually just rolled out a non-standard package charge last July. So ensure that if your package is going to have to go this way, mark the irregular packaging in the listing flow and at the time that you're printing the label. This will ensure that the accurate charge is applied, but also if you're using calculated shipping, we'll apply it for the calculated shipping.
Okay. I expected 2025 to be a little bit calmer of a year in the international world. So really quick, show of hands in the audience, and unfortunately we can't get the hands from the virtual audience, but in the room, who knew what de minimis was on January 1st of 2025? I can count them on one hand, maybe? 6 out of the 50 or so people in the room. Yeah, this was my world. In 2024, explained de minimis to everybody. Now, who knows what de minimis is now? Everybody, a lot more people. Maybe not everybody in the room, but pretty much everybody knows what de minimis is now. This world has really become quite complicated in the last 8 months. It feels like I've lived 5 years in 8 months, where the international world has changed so much, particularly coming into the U.S., but out of the U.S. has changed as well, as so many countries have responded to changes in the U.S. environment. One of the things we constantly hear from sellers, particularly in the U.S., is, I'm hearing about de minimis, I'm hearing about duties, how does that impact my business? Do I need to make any changes? Well, with EIS, you do not. So eBay International Shipping, we actually do all of the work for you to be able to calculate, understand any customs impact, duties impact, and then the problems that may occur related to transportation to different countries. In eBay International Shipping, your job is just to sell your items worldwide and then get your items to our hub in Chicago. From there, we take everything else off your plate in order to enable you to sell seamlessly to 200 countries around the world and open your items to millions of buyers worldwide. As part of that, we also are able to show how much duties may be applied to your buyers. Buyers will see duty estimates at checkout. They'll have the choice of whether to pay them up front or whether to pay them later upon delivery. The objective on our side is to be able to drive conversion. How do we help you be able to show your items to buyers in a meaningful way that they want to check out, your items are attractive, and then if there are problems on the back half of the transaction, whether it be that they got stuck in customs or lost, we do all of the protections for you. The goal of EIS when we launched it in 2022 was to be able to say there should be no reason for a seller to opt out of the program. We want to take all of the burden off your plate such that it was as easy or easier than selling within the United States. I think from what I've heard at the booth, we've done a great job. There's still room to grow, and we firmly believe that. But in terms of being able to provide protections and simplify the experience for the buyer, we've made great progress, and we hope to continue to do that in the future.
All right, so next myth. I don't need shipping insurance because I shipped with a truck service like USPS Grand Advantage. You've been hearing now Chad talking about the protections built in EIS and how that provides peace of mind. What about if you can get that peace of mind also when it's about sending items domestically? So yesterday I was asking who has ever never lost a package in transit or got an item damaged? Anyone selling? Very lucky.
One.
We need to see how you package your item. We can all learn something from it. But anyway, regardless whether you've been lucky or unlucky, it's true that sometimes carriers do offer insurance, but insurance is limited. Most of the carriers in the U.S. offer insurance up to $100, and then when you ship items above, you obviously are suffering potential loss in the case the item gets lost or the item gets damaged. So what about buying insurance? So what you can do on eBay when you purchase eBay labels, you can have a choice to secure your package by additional insurance. You can do that purchasing directly from the carriers that we have on the platform, or you can also use our insurance product called Ship Cover, which allows you to insure packages up to $15,000 at very competitive rate. So my recommendation is whenever you look for purchasing shipping service and you have a particularly fragile or high-value items, consider getting that peace of mind because that could really mean a lot in case things go wrong.
I love Ship Cover. I love that we increased it up to 15,000 recently too, so thank you for that, Gio. So here's another myth. If there's weather or carrier delays, there's never carrier delays. We're perfect out there, I'm sure. But you would increase your handling time to adjust for it. You actually don't need to increase your handling time. We monitor the network really closely. We also work with the carriers on even a daily basis to ensure that we understand where there may be delays and how long those delays will last. So we're constantly adjusting delivery estimates to try to ensure the buyer has the most accurate delivery estimate out there. Now think about it. If you increase your handling time and I'm increasing the delivery estimate, we're probably doubling it up and we're starting to tell buyers, you'll get it sometime next month, don't worry. So you don't have to increase your handling time. And then remember, as long as you handle within your stated handling time and have an acceptance scan, you don't have to worry. You get credit for on-time shipping. We don't always get it right, although we try our hardest, but if the carrier is delayed or we get it wrong, you'll still get credit as long as you did get it into the network on time. So again, we'll take care of it, especially when we get into peak. We are monitoring this every few hours to make changes as we need to, so don't worry about doing anything. We'll do it for you.
Okay. With international shipping, one of the things I hear is, particularly from buyers, and I'm assuming you hear the same, the international shipping is expensive. It just costs a ton. It's obviously, number one, going to be way more expensive to get a package from the US to Australia than it is to get one from, say, LA to Denver. One of the things that we do with eBay International Shipping is we're trying to aggregate all of the volume in order to be able to negotiate the best possible rates for you and your buyers, again, to drive conversion. By being able to aggregate that volume, it creates negotiating power with the carriers, and then it allows us to be able to pass those deep discounts on to you, be able to drive more sales. One of the things I want you to walk away with, too, is a challenge to go look at one of your listings. If you're opted into EIS, go look at a listing, compare the price charged to the buyer to the standard price that the post office charges. Pick any item, pick any size. The discount's going to get deeper and deeper as the weight increases, and the spread will really, really increase in terms of what we charge. We have the deepest discounts on the site compared to any other price that you can get through the post office or the other major carriers. If you're not opted in the program, I challenge you still to go find a listing and look and just compare what that looks like. With these deep discounts, we're able to every year drive even further discounts and widen that spread. And so we've gotten even better over the last 3 years. To this point, we benchmark approximately 20% below the post office. And we hope to be able to drive that even further as we move forward.
Oh, this is my favorite. Is anybody here an expert on hazardous materials and what you can ship? All right, you're hired. I wish I could tell you I'm an expert on hazardous materials, but I find it tricky. So sometimes we hear, I can ship it, it's fine, I don't need to declare anything if I see lots of sellers shipping it or if I get it from big box retailers. That's not necessarily true. All shippers are responsible for ensuring that what you're shipping complies with the carrier's requirements for hazardous materials and that you're declaring appropriately. On eBay, we've added a flow that allows you to self-declare through the flow when you're printing eBay labels, but I don't know if anybody's tried to declare hazardous items. It's really tricky and it's really complicated. I think you have to have a PhD to actually understand all of it. So if you're ever unsure if your item is considered hazardous or not, I would strongly encourage you to check with the carrier's requirements. And remember that sometimes items are completely prohibited and can't be shipped. Sometimes they're just restricted and you have to declare or you have to add additional documentation and paperwork. And sometimes it's restricted, but your account specifically with that carrier has to have permission to be able to ship this item. So looking if somebody else is shipping is not a good indication of whether or not it's going to be considered hazmat or not.
All right, now it's me. So another myth, I can't combine shipping through eBay, whether it's domestic or international. And I need to figure it out myself with a workaround. Now, we all know that buyers don't like to pay for shipping. Everything needs to be free, even more so when they want to buy multiple items from you. So one of the things we've been looking, we do have sellers that are offering combined shipping and some other listings that don't have this option. And guess what? When you do offer combined shipping, you're more likely to increase the basket size of your sales. We normally see almost a 30-40% difference in terms of average basket size orders between sellers that are offering and setting up combined shipping in their listings and those that don't. So how to do it, you can actually, there are some rules that you can set up in your shipping preferences. You can set up discounts to, for instance, offer free shipping above a certain dollar threshold, or you can make the second item shipping for free. So there are several ways that you can use and you can leverage to make your listings stand out more, incentivize buyers to buy more, and more importantly, you can save your time from buyers contacting you post-order and say, hey, can you combine the shipping? Can you give me the discount? So you can create a much more smoother operation. That's for domestic. The good news is that we've also, because we know that how important it is, Chad, you've been talking a lot about eBay International Shipping. We also wanted to make it easy. Also, when you use eBay International Shipping, make sure that a buyer, without you having to do anything, can see the ability to save money on shipping if they buy 2 or 3 items. Now, one thing that I always ask sellers, and I think you touched upon before, if a seller provides weight and dimensions at listing, makes our job a lot easier to calculate more accurately what the final cost is. So one recommendation is not only set up combined shipping discounts, but also make sure that you specify item weight and dimensions.
Another reason to do
really
it.
Helps.
I like it.
Yeah.
Oh.
You didn't want him to see
Yeah.
the answer.
I didn't want to see
You're
it.
testing him.
I did it again.
You could
I was
get
bad
through
at that
it.
yesterday.
And then again,
I think you did great.
Staying on the international side, I think you touched upon, Chad, but when something goes wrong overseas and shipping internationally, it's always a hassle dealing with negative feedback and refund. Now, maybe true in general if you do it on your own. Again, we want to just reinforce that if you're using eBay International Shipping, also negative feedback, returns, late deliveries, any defects will be taken care of. So you can be sure that once the item arrives at the hub, your job is done and you're going to be fully protected.
Okay, you're almost there. Okay, we're going to get to Q&A in just a moment. This is the last myth. So once we get there, once I wrap up, we'll get into Q&A. Thank you for being such a good audience and being patient. One of the things I hear frequently from many audiences or from many different sellers is, what do you do with my packages when they get to the EIS hub? Are you opening all of my packages? I packed it with such delicate care. Are you repacking them? Short answer on both is no. We do open packages. We do repack some packages, but it's an extremely small percent. We're not trying to repack all of the packages, and we don't want, in fact, to open all the packages. When an item comes into our facility in Chicago, what we're doing is essentially ensuring that, number one, it's prepared and ready for international travel, and that it's compliant with international travel requirements. Most of your packages end up going on commercial aircraft. So think Delta, United, American. And the last time you were at the airport, perhaps when you came here, you took your carry-on and you put it on the conveyor. It went through the conveyor, through the X-ray, for TSA to make sure that whatever was in your carry-on was safe. The same thing happens at our hub. Every package goes through a dimensional weigh scan, so we know what weight it is, what the dimensions are, so we know how to route it with the carrier. And then we also X-ray every single package, because our number one goal is safety and compliance. We want to make sure that we're able to continue offering the program such that there's no issues of it getting on a plane and causing a problem. That's the very, very last thing we want. Now, there are packages we do open. Some of those packages are really all of those packages are targeted around making sure that what's in that package is, number one, safe to leave the US, it's compliant with US export regulations, and then it's safe to enter the destination country. I've actually talked to quite a few people at the booth this week, asking a number of questions about why are my listings restricted to certain countries or not. There's some really odd regulations that we've had to learn over time, and you may not be aware of. Really simple ones. Number one, a toy going to Mexico, if it has a face on the toy that's uncovered, it can't go to Mexico. It's blocked. Now, if you take that same toy and you put a Darth Vader helmet on it instead of making it Luke Skywalker, that helmet makes the face blocked. It can go to Mexico. And so all of those regulations are things we don't want to have a bad buyer experience. We don't want you to see, okay, your buyer's unsatisfied. So we take all of those regulations, we try to wrap them into making sure we understand what listings can go where. But we also want to allow as much commerce to happen as possible. And so we supplement those restrictions with being able to then show certain listings to certain countries, and then we target open inspection to make sure that they're safe when they go to that country. Another really odd one that you may not be aware of is a yo-yo can't go to Canada. It's considered a strangulation device, and so we try to block all of that. But again, some things slip through, and so we do this open inspect process to make sure what's happening is actually safe and compliant.
I just learned something new today. I didn't know that.
Welcome to shipping.
Love it.
The other thing that we do is in addition to open inspect and x-rays, we have we have a key part of our team that goes through and they also inspect every single package. So let's introduce you to the last part of our key team on the compliance side.
not yet met them, but I think those may be my favorite coworkers we have. They are adorable.
Hawk and Draco sniff every package that comes into the hub. As when they come off the truck, every truck is lined up with all the packages coming off. They take a good sniff, making sure everything's safe, both for illicit materials and for explosive materials. We're trying to do all of these processes in the least intrusive way possible so that how you pack your packages to your buyer with care, that it gets to them the same way. We don't want to open everything. We want to make sure that it's safe. So we're going to transition now to the Q. I got a little ahead of myself, apologies. So as we wrap and then we transition to Q&A, we really want you to remember a couple of things moving out of this session. It's really two. So when you leave today, number one, on the eBay label side, eBay labels, we've tried to make it as simple as possible, where we take all of the information you provide on the listing, we incorporate that into labels as they're generated and shown to you so that when you get to the eBay labels platform, you're already able to see what the prices are, how to get the cheapest cost possible, such that it's the easiest way to identify how to ship your item. And then we supplement that with additional protections through the Ship Cover program to make it as safe as possible for you as well. On the international side, eBay International Shipping is the easiest, it's the cheapest and the safest way for you to sell. It's risk-free. I want to challenge you to do one thing when you leave this room. Go check if you are opted into the program. If you're opted into the program, number one, thank you. I appreciate your business. You help us be more successful every single day. We want to make the program as simple and as easy as possible for you. If you're not opted into the program, I challenge you to opt in. Try it. If you have a problem, I will give you, after this session, I'm happy to give you the contact for myself or for my team. It will be the easiest way to sell international. It'll be the safest. Now, remember, opt in. Make sure you are opted in. And if there are problems, reach out.